there. This is Devin Twyman. Matt and Jamie, can you let me know that everyone can hear me?
Yep, they can.
Matt, Jamie?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Let's just get started here. So thanks for joining. I'll introduce myself. My name is Devin Twyman. I'm the CPO here. We also have Matthew and we have Jamie here. If you guys have been a part of any of our webcasts or open huddles, you've heard from them before. So let's just get started. So here is what we are going to talk about today. Here's just a few topics and agenda. We're going to review the basically our Q1 2018 product roadmap. I am going to do a little bit of show and tell so you guys can understand and visually see the new features that are going to be coming out. We will then do a quick Q&A session. Then we will follow that with most frequently asked questions, best practices, and then we'll end it with last call. So just a quick reminder, in BigMarker, which is the platform that we're using right now, you will want to enter your questions within that Q&A section. Okay, so I know there's a lot of words on this next slide. This is more for you guys to reference after this webcast, but primarily for this webcast, trying to set expectations for our clients here so you guys understand what we are working on and when we plan on releasing. So you can see that we have February and March. We will be releasing 2 product releases in quarter one. One being late February, the other one will be March, and then I'm going to address some things that are going to be coming into future, whether that's Q2 or whatnot. Just wanted you guys to know where we stand on product releases. So the first one in February, and again, I'm going to show you visuals of all of this. So February, there is going to be a new admin panel, a new hybrid monitor station, new content launcher, an in-launcher tutorial, and then we are going to be adding some additional filters in our marketplace and our commercial licensing. So big product releases for us in the coming months. And then in March, based on those new features and new things that we have set, we will revamp the content management section of our admin panel just to make that easier for you. Additionally, we are going to be including hosting management for custom content. So as we continue to add more and more clients to our platform, we do have some clients that have custom content. One of a very highly requested item is being able to communicate to your customers. So being able to do that via the monitor station and being able to talk or even provide text communication to your customers. We'll also walk through the group booking management that we will be releasing in March. Additional launcher settings, I'll go into that a little bit more, but basically from your monitor station, how you can actually remote to all of your stations and being able to restart, whether that's the launcher, SteamVR, or even content. Groupon supports. If you do use our booking, we will be supporting Groupon multi-environment selections. So that means when we do launch with our new content launcher, you will actually have options. And then when we do launch in February around our in-launcher tutorial, that will be Vive only. And then we are going to, and in March, we will be expanding that into the Oculus to be able to have a tutorial specific to Oculus and also be able to see those controllers. March will be basic consumer profiles, and then additional commercial license marketplace price options. Okay, so in the future, outside of Q1, you'll see that we will be revamping our analytics, be providing advanced user permissions, allowing you to actually have a custom environment if you wish, quick multiplayer launch, and then other POS integrations. Okay, so one thing to note on the multiplayer launch, there are some things that are going to be required from the game developers. And so we are going to be trying to get that traction. And then we will be launching that to our arcades. Goodness, I can't talk right now. So as a summary, what I'm gonna basically be able to show you guys is, as I mentioned before, we are improving our multi-location support. So more and more of our customers are expanding and adding multiple locations. And so primarily what we are doing is we are going to, start from the location and then being able to build out your hours of operations, your experiences, and everything like that directly from each individual location. We're going to go over a new concept around experience types and pricing tiers, which has been a very highly discussed item from a lot of our customers. Additional discount and coupon filters, as I mentioned, Groupon support, launcher environment selections, and improved content management. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on actually what this means. So first off, when you hear me talk about that we are doing a new admin panel, we're kind of doing this in phases. So for our arcades or our clients that have actually adopted commercial licensing, you would have seen that you are starting to utilize our new panel. So we're doing this in phases. We first built off the commercial licensing onto our new panel, and so you will slowly see us moving over to that. The primary reason why we've rebuilt this is because, one, we've grown, and now we've really understood kind of your guys' use cases, and so it's time to actually, make this very user-friendly and easy for you guys to onboard and manage your content. Okay, so just at a high level, letting you know that when you guys do go to commercial licensing, you are going into that new panel. So what does the new panel actually, what is that going to include? As I mentioned, improve multi-location support. So you can see here for this example, again, these are all designs. Few things might change, but this, if you're anything like me, I need a visual. So you can see here for this example, this account would have 3 locations. And so within those particular locations is where you would set your stations and everything like that. So for an example, let's just go into one. So this is one particular location. So the name and address, the contact information, even the hours of operation would be based on that individual location. And then we also will have discounts. Okay, so you might have discounts different than one location than the other. Same for coupons. So just for everyone that's on this call that might be a new client of ours, with our booking system that we have today, we already have the discounts and coupons. So this is just a primary example of how we're allocated that to a particular location. Okay. All right. Again, this is just an example of our discount details. Being able to provide a discount based on percentage. For example, a spring break discount for a particular day, and being able to also include that into an experience, which I'll get into more detail in a little bit. Okay, so now let's go into stations. So you will start to hear us talk about experience types. That's something new, and I'll go into detail next. But just for the hierarchy, we're first starting with locations, then we're going into stations. So based on the experiences that you will have included, you can then allocate individual stations associated to those experiences. So those experiences could all be your Vives, Oculus, it could even be an escape room, it could even be, Birdly, anything like that. So what we are trying to do is be able to support every and any business model in the location-based market, all right? So you will be able to see, again, giving you guys more flexibility around how you set up your stations and how you're going to offer this to your customers. Okay, so we've gone over multiple locations, the experience types. So I think this is just an example of your particular stations. Okay, so if you drill down into a station, this is where you can name it. You can select your various different experience type, and we'll go into that in just a second. And then being able to also set your particular launcher setting based on your location. So our end goal is to allow you to have multiple environments that you can choose from. And so we are going to allow you to do that by location and by experience and even by stations, okay? Okay, so now we're going to actually go into the experiences. So we talked about locations, stations, and now experiences. This is where you're going to be able to add any experience that you want. Again, going back to being able to support any business model that you guys end up going into or expanding into. So this is just a primary example of what your experiences at a high level is going to look like. And then you can drill into that. So this right here is an example of drilling into an individual experience, okay? Drilling into a particular experience. So you can name these whatever. So we know we have a few clients that have standard stations, they have premium stations based on various different things. And so when you hear us talk about experience types, we are trying to accommodate all of those various different things. So a standard, premium, whatever you guys want to name. And so you would name this experience, then let us know the equipment, right? So the great example of that is an escape room. So we have some clients that actually want to be using our booking system. And so we would allow you to actually create a experience type based on an escape room, okay? The other thing that we are going to do is we're going to have default images. You can obviously upload your own, but this is going to be a great kind of starting point that you guys can at least start from when we do launch this. One of the things here is going to be whatever image you select or upload, this is what your consumer is going to see in your booking widget or link that you provide if you're using our booking system, okay? Just going back to each experience would also have its own launcher setting, okay? Now I'm going to be moving into kind of letting you know the pricing tiers, okay? So for every experience, you might have various different pricing tiers. So we're allowing you to set that based on the experiences that you create, okay? So a price and then tell us the length of time. Also, let us know the maximum number of people at that first station and letting us know your setup time, and then obviously cushion and booking increments. So this is all in combination of utilizing our booking system with our content launcher, okay? And allowing you to do this at a per experience level. And then this is just more details around the refunds and cancellations. For any of you guys that don't understand our booking system today, this is what we have today. It's a little bit different layout. You can see we are trying to be very detailed around the description of what everything means, so you can fully understand this. One thing to note, when we do launch with our basic consumer profiles, you will be able to let us know or let our system know if you do want your users to be able to extend within the headset. So we're giving you that option here to allow us to be able to provide that and receive payment all through within the headset. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back here. And I think I've covered everything that we talked about. I'm going to briefly touch base with Matt and Jamie as they're monitoring the question and answer section. Is there anything that I need to address before I move on right now?
Sure. So we have just 5 questions here, and we'll just take a quick moment to answer these guys. The most upvoted one is by Arthur, who asks, will there be foreign language support for your VR tutorials? An example he gives, subtitles or maybe even their own language translations. We have talked about this a little bit.
Jamie, I can answer that.
Please do.
Yeah, so our plan, when we do launch with this in February, we will be supporting our top 5 languages. And then by March, we will be supporting our top 10. That's kind of our phased approach. So yes, the audio and the text will be based on the localization that you have set in the panel.
Perfect. Cool. Moving on. James Pollock asks, will we be able to have different pricing tiers based on different times or different days? For example, midweek pricing or midday pricing. So this is one of the reasons why these experiences has taken a little bit longer is because we know that we have a lot of business use cases that we need to accommodate. Now, I will say that we have had solutions for what you're describing, having different hours for different experiences, but currently, it's going to be based on the hours that your location is open. Now, this area is actually still a little bit up in the air as we discuss it. But what we're trying to do is balance a really good trying to balance a really good user experience. So first-time users, when they use Springboard, they're not overwhelmed with a bunch of options. But just so you know, before I finish this answer. Currently, with our discount system and our coupon system, you are able to set coupons and discounts for certain times of day. So if you want maybe midweek pricing because you want to get some more business in the midweek, you can have coupons that will only apply or even discounts that only apply for the midweek. So you can kind of utilize that system for that. So hopefully that answers your question.
And I'll just comment on that as well. So you'll see right here that we talk about additional discount and coupon filters. Some of those consist of number of people, minimum time, and then time and day of the week. So those are additional to the ones that we already have set. So, and I believe, Jamie, was that James that asked that question?
That was.
Okay. James, yeah, we will get with you to make sure, because we are in the final stages of finalizing kind of our experience types. And our ultimate goal is to making sure that we are fulfilling almost all business models there. So.
I should mention as well, Devin, that it was upvoted quite a bit, so it is a hot topic. Those
hot topic. I
yeah,
love
exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, next up we have Chris Reese asking, when users extend their time, does it charge the card on file? Yes. So basically, we can only show that option if we have some sort of payment system. Some sort of payment on file. So yes, it will just charge the card on file. And we'll be sure to show the appropriate notification to the user when they do actually do that extension so that they know, hey, this is going to be charged.
Right. And I don't have the screen available to show you right now, but we will go into major detail on some of those in our open huddle. But yes, when we do release with our basic customer profiles, that is where we will be allowing the extending in the headset because we obviously need the card on file.
Awesome. So maybe we'll take one more question at this point, move on, but then we'll have another Q&A set, like another question answer session at the end. But we'll do one last one. Matt, I know that you want to answer this one, so I'll let you take. Paul asks, will there be support for Windows mixed reality headsets?
We are actually actively talking to Microsoft right now, and we have a meeting with them next week. So it's the only thing we're actively looking into. There's a few limitations on their end, making it difficult for us, but they're trying to find ways so that we can support it. So we'll hopefully have an update in the next month or two about that.
All right, I'm going to move on. Again, just wanted to make sure when I go into new hybrid monitor station, if there's anything, Matt, Jamie, that I need to make sure I mention after I go through this, let me know.
Sure, will do.
All right, so the new hybrid monitor station. If any of you guys have been in our webcast or open huddles, you would have seen us discuss this many times. So at a high level, it's going to be, where your stations and your calendar view are going to be combined. Another big hot topic was a quick start booking. So we have, we will have that feature and then improve the full customer detailed booking, being able to do a custom paid extension, more of a true time watch, a stopwatch timer, and then the payment notifications. So again, going back to various different business models, some people are actually taking the payment at the very beginning. Some people are doing more of the restaurant business and taking the payment at the very end. So we will be able to tell you or showcase which sessions or reservations actually have not been paid. Again, like I said before, very hot topic was the host voice and text communication, the group booking management, and then the additional launcher settings. So now I'm going to go into kind of showcasing these items. Okay, so this should not look new to anyone that has joined us before, but this is what is going to be launching in February. So as I mentioned, the station and calendar view, you can see the hybrid approach here. As I mentioned about not paid, you can see that we will be providing that functionality so you can see the various different reservations that are not paid. You can see that. One other thing to see, we will also be including any extensions, any paid extensions. So at a very quick view, you can see on your reservation cards which one had actually had the paid extension there, okay? So one of the things was a hot topic in some of our open huddles was that you wanted the end time on each of these cards. And so we have provided that. So here's the timer that will be counting down. And here's the exact time of when that session would be over, okay? Another thing, I know a lot of you guys know about our age item here on based on every content. So every content, every game. So this is where you would be able to see how this was set, and this station is actually set for anyone above 14. You have the ability to change those based on every game, okay? And then obviously you'll be able to see the batteries and the percentages here, the now, so you'll be able to see this, and you'll also be able to say you need to, say someone's calling in and wants to reserve in 2 days. You'd easily be able to go to that particular date, and then if you ever need to come back to specifically now, you would be able to see that. One other item to note here, you will see scheduling conflict here. So one of the feedback that we have gotten that you want the most flexibility. So you will be setting your hours of operation, and that is for your actually consumers to know about that, right? We are going to allow you to actually add a walk-in or a booking or anything like that if you're an admin, right, to be able to see a conflict, okay? But we will be notifying you and letting you know, and our assumption is that you really wanted to make that conflict and you were going to actually resolve the conflict in a little bit, but we're not going to stop you. One other thing that we will go into is scheduled maintenance. Okay, so you're going to be able to see this view all together if you actually have a particular station that might be down. Someone broke the TV or whatever it is, you will be able to schedule that, and you have that today, but we're just providing better visual right now. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of go into detail around the quick start booking. Okay, so this is an assumption that I'm an arcade, I'm the host, I'm the employee. And so I'm going to be able to quickly start a particular session without having a reservation, right? We call this the hybrid monitor station. So this is where you simply don't want to enter the client's information. You want this very quick. So you're going to select the experiences. This should actually say experiences. And then you'll be able to select the stations. All right. We are going to allow you to be able to select multiple locations and then select the time and then actually start it from here. Okay?
Sorry, just a quick addendum there. You said multiple locations, multiple stations. You will not be able to make a walk-in across locations.
Yes, thank you for the correction. Experiences, I think I meant experiences. All right, we're gonna move on. Any questions around that? So just to make sure that's clear, once you hit this and you want this for now, okay, this is the assumption that someone has come in to your arcade and you actually want to get them into a station as soon as possible, right? And so this is an assumption as now, and you would actually see that come here. I'm having a delay here. Well, you'll be able to see that in the hybrid.
Too many tabs of Envision open there, Devin.
I know. Okay, so we're just going to move on. Jamie, did you want to comment something?
Nope, no. You go for it.
Okay. So this is basically, say someone actually comes in and actually they want to actually start their session 30 minutes, right? So within, you could have seen the other options, and if you want to make various different changes, you can actually come into the more detailed view. Okay, so we're trying to give all customers the most flexibility. Okay, so you're able to select the various different experience, the time and date, right? Being able to do a custom start time if you wish. All right, and this obviously is also telling you the conflict. Okay, This is telling you the various different conflicts, letting you know that that is going to cause a conflict. But again, you guys have told us you want the most flexibility, and we are allowing that for you. Okay. Number of players, we are also going to tell you, yes, based on these number of players, this discount is applied if you have discounts set up. Number of stations, telling you based on what you've allocated above, telling you how many stations you can select. Okay. And then custom length of time, being able to do that as well here. So giving you guys the most flexibility. Contact information is going to be optional. You will not have to enter that. Again, trying to make that very flexible for you. And then pay with card or marked as paid. Marked as paid would mean that you've actually taken the payment through your own system, and you're just letting us know that. Again, providing you a summary here of the time, number of players, which stations, and then the price, and then you would hit continue. Okay. So one thing to note is if it is for now, this will instantly, the continue would instantly start that session. Okay. And you would actually come back here into the actual hybrid station here. And then you would see that this is starting. Okay. Now, if it is in the future, 15 minutes or whatnot, we will then allow you to be able to click into one of these and actually start them. Okay. So a prime example is this. And I'll walk you through the flow here. So a great flow here is if someone's not checked in, right? They did not start instantly. This is where you could check various different people in, right? So this is kind of a group booking, and then being able to hit start. Another thing here, this is new. Say you want to actually add more time, okay? And this would be free time, right? Maybe something happened and you actually want to give another like 2 minutes. You would actually pause here, and the pause would actually start to make the actual timer here more of a stopwatch. So you could enter whatever you wish. So if it's, hey, I just need to give them like 30 more seconds, or I need to give them 2 more minutes, you can easily do that, again, giving you the most flexibility here, okay? So this pause, just to clarify, I'm sure there might be questions here, this pause is not going to pause the launcher or the game or anything like that. This is simply allowing you to adjust their time, okay? Another thing here is paid extensions. So if we have the card on file for that particular reservation, right? And they actually want to have a paid extension, you as the host could actually do this right from here as well. All right. And I think that handles, and this is where you would actually start them. Okay. So just another example here is for the ones that actually are started now, they will instantly start. For the ones that are in the future that you can see here, you would simply click on this card and then you would hit that start button. Okay. Another feature, so say you actually are looking at the calendar view and you actually want to start someone in this particular station, you could simply click on that particular time that you want and start it right from there. It would be the same process as the walk-in, but you are already telling that form that you want it on station 4. All right, I'm going to just look through my notes here, and I think we've covered the payment notification, and I think there might be one more item here. Okay, yes, I wanted to share this. So what I was showing you before was actually from the arcade host or employee view, right? This is if you actually had this on your website, if you actually had our booking widget or even link on the website. This is why it's so important to make sure that you have the images. We obviously are going to be giving you the default images, but you can include whatever image you want, and this will showcase on the reservation widget, okay? We're allowing you to name it whatever you want and also provide wording, a little description for them to understand your various different experiences that you're offering. And then they can select the date, the starting time. Obviously, we're going to give them, you know, if it's a maximum number of people or whatever you have set within those specific experiences. And then we will also be showcasing if a discount has applied to them. They are going to be selecting the number of stations. We are going to tell them that they must select 2 stations based on your maximum, and then they would select the length of time, always giving them the summary within the widget. One other thing to note that's going to be new is the name of booking, because we are going to be moving into the group booking management, okay? Where someone can come to your website, make a booking for 4 people, then share that out to their friends and say RSVP. And so again, just going through this detail, this is where they would name that, say it's Jamie's party, it's Jamie's birthday. You would see that here, and then you would see basically the ability to share this out. So in phase 1 in February, this is just going to be specific to the host. But in March, when we are launching the group booking, you would be able to see a shared link where that person that made the reservation for 4 people that's joining them, they would send this out to their friends. And then the nice thing about that, and we'll get this into the launcher, is then being able to switch out players if they've reserved 1 or 2 stations. Okay.
You're referring to switching out the players in headset, correct, Devin?
Yes, in headset. Thanks for making me clarify that.
No worries.
Sometimes I talk about this so much, I forget some of the details. Okay, so that is the new hybrid monitor station. Anything that I was not clear on, Jamie or Matt?
No, I'll just kind of give like one sentence of kind of an overview of our thought process for this, is that we really wanted to be able to give you guys as much control as possible, but letting you know as much as humanly possible about your arcade. So it's balancing those 2 things. We want to make sure you have the flexibility to have any business model, but as well you have a really good visibility about what's going on in your arcade. So that's why you see things like conflicts. So before, where our strategy was, well, just don't let conflicts happen, we'll take care of that for you, we found that that was stepping on the toes of a lot of business models. So a really big goal for us for this monitor was to make sure that we are empowering you guys to make the decisions that you need to make. So we'll be launching that. We're really excited about it. So yeah, we can move on.
Okay, one thing to note that, again, just making sure everyone understands, when we talk about additional launcher settings, we are planning on doing kind of a launch quit for the launcher, Steam VR, content, etc. And you would be able to do that all through here. So if you clicked on this kind of menu here, this would open up where you can change the age, you can remote launch a particular game, and then you can also create your maintenance mode right from this menu as well, for those that haven't tried that out yet.
And Daniel just asked if we could repeat. Basically, Daniel, inside of those 3 little dots is just specific settings for the individual station. So that's things like age limits, the language of the station, and it gives you a couple options for restarting Steam VR right there. So if there is a problem, you can just remotely restart the software from the monitor. So it offers a lot of flexibility there.
And the other thing is we are going to be giving kind of some notifications Again, this is kind of in planning. If there's anything happening on that station that we are aware of, kind of giving the monitor station a view so you would know. Okay. All right, we are moving into new content launcher. And you'll hear us, we're trying to say content versus games. Generally we've referred to our game launcher. We're trying to kind of refine that and state it as content. All right. So as we get into this, as I had kind of mentioned, multi-environment selections, and we're just going to go right into that so I can showcase that.
Just a quick precursor. The content launcher is what your customers will see inside of the headset.
Yes. Okay, so I showed this before, right? So this is where, when we do launch with this, and in February we're going to launch with our new, and you will have one option, but in March you'll have two. And when we do launch with this, we are going to want to know from our customer base who is actually interested in a custom environment, because following March is when we would be looking to have the opportunity to actually provide custom environments if you so wish to look into that. So again, going to that per location, per experience, per station type of view, this is where you would be able to preview a particular launcher for selection, and then also select that one that you want. Because we do know we have some clients that have, potentially 30 headsets in one location. They have an upstairs and a downstairs, and they actually might want a different environment on both levels. So we are giving you that flexibility there, okay? I will be mentioning ads, all right? So we are gonna be launching with a very simple version where you could simply upload an image. And so within the new launcher, say you have a tournament that's gonna be going on next weekend, or you have actually a discount. You want to let them know of a discount. If they come in Monday, you would give them a discount. All right, so we are going to allow you to simply upload an image, and it will be included into the launcher. And I will have a side note there. If you attend our open huddles, we are going to give you best practices in what those images should actually look, and the file size and everything like that in preparation for this. Okay, moving on. So for you guys, this should not be new to anyone, but the look and feel of our new launcher is coming in February. Again, this is just a visual. The background is not what it's going to look like, but you can see here the filtering system and everything is. All right, so when I mentioned about 180-degree content selection, this is what I'm talking about. When they put the headset on, they're instantly going to be able to see what content you provide to your customers instead of having to look left, right, and all around to see all of them, okay? We've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to go into major detail unless someone actually has questions. But the three things here to note that's going to be different is we are going to be providing the most popular at your arcade. We also are going to be providing new releases. So if you have a particular new release of content, we'd be providing it here. We also will have recently played once we launch with our basic customer profiles. So if I have a profile, then I would be able to see my recently played games content as well. All right. Our filter in the past was very confusing. We heard that loud and clear. And so what we have done is we've kind of provided a more advanced filter system for your clients. So for the ones that really want to filter down, they will be able to do that all from here, all in that 180-degree view. Okay. Now I'm going to move into more of the search. So if someone actually wants to search for a particular game, they can do that as well right from the search here. All right. So now moving on, oops, I did that twice. Now kind of moving on to, I had already talked about the arcade ad placement, and we will be showcasing actually what that would actually look like in the launcher in some in our next open huddle. All right. So again, like we had mentioned, being able to extend within the headset. And again, we're giving you the option to have this button here. If you don't, this will not be included. The other thing that we're going to be adding here is them being able to actually schedule for their next game. So what the user experience would be from there is if they say, yes, I want to schedule my next game, and we know who that person is, we will actually be sending them an email or text with the link to make their next reservation. So it's basically a CTA basically saying, yes, send me the link to make the reservation for my next visit, and I will complete that after my session here. Okay. And I think we are really getting close to the end here. The other thing, I know we've talked about the basic consumer profiles and accounts. So this is where you're going to see that when we launch that in March, okay? And also being able to switch players. So when we do launch the group management, and we do know who the individuals are, so there's actually 3 of us in one station, we're gonna share the headset, they could simply switch right from here, okay? And then tutorial, as we've kind of discussed before, it is going to be in launcher. In launcher tutorial, it's going to be around that 90, no more than that 90 seconds. And really it's going to be walking your customers through our launcher, how they're going to navigate, how they are going to select games, and everything like that. And then the 101s of the controllers, okay? Trying to make it very dead simple for them. And then they can obviously skip, or they can do the tutorial at any time, okay? And I think I have one more here. Another thing that we are going to do at the very, very end, once their time has ended and they have not extended or anything like that, we are going to allow your customers to rate their experience. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then be able to provide you that information. We do plan on expanding on this, but this is the start of trying to get kind of some consumer feedback there. All right. And I think we are getting very close. Anything that I need to clarify?
No, I think you're okay to move on.
All right, perfect. Okay, lastly, 2 things. Commercial licensing, which, you know, when we launched this was middle of November, so we've been really tracking the data and seeing how we can improve it and everything like that. So in Q1, we will be adding additional marketplace filters. So you'll be able to search through our games now that we have, you know, over 75 games. Now it's time to actually add filters in there so you can actually see that. And if we have any game developers on this webcast, we are going to be providing you real-time stats like we do for the arcade. And then one additional thing that we've heard some feedback on, we do plan on implementing a per minute /cap, per minute per station cap. More details will come on that, but just so you guys know, we are advancing our marketplace options. The one thing to know, as you can see, I have optional there. This is all going to depend on the game developer. We are going to provide the game developer the ability to set a cap. It will be up to them if they actually proceed with it. Okay, so we will keep you in the loop on that, but that is where we're headed. The other thing here is our community. So we've heard loud and clear, this was a hot topic. You guys wanted a private Springboard community. So we will be launching this in late January. So keep an eye out for that, but this will be for our customers, for you guys to engage. We will have certain content provided to you, but just be on the lookout for that. It is launching late January. Okay, we are ready for questions.
This is my all-time favorite part. Awesome. That was really great, Devin. Thank you so much. I'll give you a chance to catch your breath. Let's move right on to questions. We have a lot of them. We're going to go through hopefully all of them because all of these are really great. Before we go into this, I just want to say it is really, really awesome to hear from you guys, and from these open huddles and stuff, and the things that we've done before have directly impacted the product, especially the thing that I work on mostly, which is the monitor. So I just want to say I really like this stuff, but let's get right into it. The most upvoted question, which, by the way, you can upvote questions. If you see that a question that you have has already been asked, you can just upvote it, and it'll go to the top of the list. All right. Randy Habfast asks, will there be a way to set the extend time option to be available only when there isn't another time booked right after they finish? Yes. So this actually is going to be the only way. Just so you know, what we're doing with our booking system is that customers of the arcade will never, ever be able to create a conflict. Only employees and arcade owners are able to make conflicts because we trust that they know what they're doing. So there is never a situation where a customer will be able to make a conflicting booking. And that means also that they won't be able to extend. And for example, if you also have extensions that are 15, 30, 45 minutes, but 15 minutes is available, but the 30 isn't, you'll only see the 15-minute variant of that. Okay, moving on. Chris Canavan, I noticed gift vouchers on one of the menus. Will you be sporting gift cards and memberships? So two parts to this, gift cards and
let me answer that.
Please.
Yeah. So yes, so as you can tell, we plan well in advance. So when we do launch with the basic consumers profile, right, we will be expanding into that in Q2, where we will be really looking into loyalty programs and also memberships. So right now for Q1, we are solely focused on that basic consumer profile, making sure we're doing that right. And then we are going to be expanding into the loyalty membership kind of gift card type of thing thereafter.
Cool. Moving on. Michelle, some of you guys might know Michelle. When a user extends their time and the station has a booking after, Michelle, this has already been answered. If you have any other concerns, just pop it into the Q&A. We'll answer that one. Oh, I see what you're saying. Would it move the user extend the booking? No, it just wouldn't let them make a booking. So if it's ever going to cause a conflict, it just won't. You're just not allowed to do it. Okay. Barry asks, for the multiplayer launcher, is the goal to remote launch the game and have the players automatically in the same game without their intervention? If so, that would be great. So I
will answer this. Yeah,
okay.
I will answer this as well. So yes, I kind of gave you a little insight into that. But again, if you attend our open huddles, especially our next one, I'm going to actually showcase a few things. But there's going to be 3 things that we're actually looking at on the multiplayer quick launch. One, yes, improving the ability where our system is actually handling that, and you guys are not having to, manually do things. That's our number one. But the 3 things that I really want to address and how we're thinking about this is when you go into the launcher, you will see a multiplayer option where there's going to be active sessions. And so people could actually join those. Within those sessions, there's 3 things to think about. We're going to be segmenting that by individual bookings. So I actually create a private booking, and there's 3 of us. I only want to play with the 3 of us. All right. So that's going to be more of a private. Then you could actually look at the arcade across all of their headsets, right? So say you have 10 headsets, you could actually join any multiplayer session that's going on across your arcade. Thirdly is worldwide. So now that we have over 200 clients across the world, then you could actually provide the ability for your consumers to actually play a multiplayer game in a different country or a different state, and we would be providing that detail. Again, all 3 of those, you would have the ability to set which ones you would want to opt in. But again, we are going to go into a lot more detail, showing you visuals on how that would actually work in our next open huddle. But just again, like I said before, we are going to be working with the game developers because they are going to have to do some changes for us to pull this up.
Great. We'll move on. Ingvar asks, and this will be another one that you can answer, Devin, and you kind of already have. Have you any plans to start looking into membership options, like for all members always having a 10% discount or other membership benefits?
Yes. So again, going back to really looking at that model once we get the basic consumer, but something to think about would be the coupons. So you could actually create a coupon just for your members, and only your members would have that particular coupon. You could do that today. And so definitely we are going to be planning around how we are going to implement our member loyalty strategy. So I hope, as everyone knows about Springboard, we get your feedback and we do a lot of planning and making sure we do it right, and then we go into implementation.
Frank Bailey asks, in the roadmap, basic consumer profiles were mentioned. What will this look like? Is this a login customers can reuse every time they visit the arcade? Will there be accolades for players to keep them engaged, play time thresholds, number of kills in a specific game, etc.? So I can answer the first part of this really easily. The basic customer profiles right now is going to be when a host of a party says, hey, I want 4 people to be on this reservation, they will have the ability to send out a link to their friends to sign them up as well. As for logins and accolades and like stats and leaderboards, all that stuff, I can say we're actively planning those things. I don't have any sort of specifics around that yet. Maybe Devin can speak a little bit more to that.
Right. So if I had the exact visual, I would be showing you. So again, stay tuned in our open huddles. The plan is to allow them to log in, have a simple history log of that, and being able to add. And that's where we're going to kind of establish kind of their history and everything like that. So again, stay tuned on exactly how that's going to look because it's still in the planning stage, but our goal is to have that by the end of March.
Cool. Jeff Stahl asks, can one station switch between different experiences? Premium games 1 hour, budget games for another booking. We have not really thought of that. At the moment, a station is an experience. That being said, at any time, you can go into the arcade panel and switch that experience for that certain station. However, there's a couple caveats to that. For example, if you switch a standard station to be a deluxe station, and there are some games associated with that deluxe station that aren't on the standard station, you might have to do a little bit of juggling there. But in general, you're totally able to just go into a station and change its experience type, but there's no automation for this right now.
So one thing, because I know we're over the 60 minutes right now, I just want to address a few things, and then we are going to take more questions. But for the people that might need to drop off, I want to make sure people get the next items here, okay? So most frequently asked questions. How do I request keys from specific stations? I actually want to make sure this is clear because we get a lot of questions around this. All right, commercial licensing. You know, when you do log into your account, you would go into a particular title, right? You click into that. This is where you can request specific keys based on location, based on a particular station, okay? So right now, this is where you would handle that. Another thing that the customer success team wanted me to clearly state is you only want to request keys if you are adopting our commercial licensing, okay? If you already have your commercial licensing set, you do not need to request keys because we will automatically activate that, okay? Just want to make sure that's clear. The second question, how do I export just one specific game session data? So within the analytics, you will be able to export a raw session. Then you can filter that, okay? You can filter that in Excel, right? Based on that one particular game, all right? The next question that's been very common is what countries do we currently support localization for? You can see them listed on the screen right now. And I'm gonna just move on because of time. So a few things here are best practices. Number one, support ticket. If you have a feature request, if you have an issue that we need to look at or anything like that, support@springboardvr.com is the way to go. We have a process in place that we live by. And so if it doesn't go there, it could get missed, okay? We also have updated our support phone number. So please take note of this phone number. One thing to note, we have hired a couple of people throughout the company, but one specifically consumer facing would be Michelle. You will be hearing from Michelle. She is going to be handling a lot of our support here. And so you will see and communicate with her. Just so you guys know, she has worked at an arcade. She understands the arcade very, very well. So just so you know, we are very happy to have Michelle on board.
She's worked specifically at a VR arcade too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I assume you guys think that when I
just want to make sure.
Our next open huddle, January 31st at noon. So again, join that, look for the emails when we send those out and register. Even if you can't attend, you will at least get the recording. A few things that we just want to touch base on best practices is we recommend only one copy of our software on a station at a time. Keep the game property Steam default as always keep this game up to date. And if you ever have an issue with a particular game, always launch it through Steam to make sure you don't need to accept any terms or service. And if it's working in Steam and not working in Springboard, that's when we definitely need to know about that. Next is ensure your time matches local time, okay? And the other, just a friendly reminder, antivirus reminder, we're only compatible with Windows Defender, right? So I am ready for more questions. I just wanted to make sure for those that do have to drop off, you did hear that last bit.
Perfect. Let's move on. Dennis asks, when you guys can add Moneris' payment option, Square and Stripe PayPal 2 are expensive. I get a 0.5% fee for credit card processing from Moneris. Without that, I can't use the payment or booking system. Now, Matt, you have a bit of experience with Moneris.
Yeah, so we have pretty much just two issues. One issue is that Moneris is Canada only, and we're a pretty international country, and we've obviously been focusing on payment providers that have a lot of different countries available rather than just one. So that's why we've been doing things like Square and Stripe and things like that. The other issue is that their web developer stuff isn't great. They're a pretty old legacy style company, and the way that we can implement things like Stripe and Square is like a pretty easy process for us. But for us to implement Moneris is actually a pretty time-heavy process, and it's pretty complicated to do. So it's definitely something it's sitting in our feature request lists. It's something that we do have there, but we don't have any ETA or anything for that right now.
Great. Bit of a gear shift here. Darren Bishop asks, will booking a walk-in now using the hybrid reduce inventory online for space that would overlap that time, not just show the conflict? So he gives an example. Walk in at 2 for an hour, but a booking slot starts at 2:30. What we're doing is, and just sort of to reiterate the theme of the monitor when being used by an employee or an arcade owner, is that we're going to allow this to be made, but we're going to notify you that there's a conflict. So basically what it means is that you can make that one for 2, and if you know that maybe you know the person coming at 2:30 or whatever, you can reschedule that or something like that. So you'll always be able to make an action, but we will inform you that it will create a conflict.
So something that's not here that will, when we actually build this out, you will see that it says this will make a conflict.
Yep. Chris Reese asks, do you have waiver integration? So this is sort of part of our planning around the customer profiles and around when a host makes a booking, for example, 4 people, they can send it out. We do want to make sure that this waiver stuff is as flexible as possible, but we also want to make sure that we aren't making our arcades break the law by accident. So there's a lot of layers to this. We want to make sure we're accepting actual proper signatures that are legitimate in a court of law. We also want to make sure that we are sending out that we have like good waiver integration for you guys, that the customer can actually read the waiver, because if they're on a phone, for example, and it's a PDF, I don't want them having to like zoom in really far to see their waiver. So we've thought a lot about this. It's definitely something in the feature list, but I can't give any sort of specifics as exactly when it's going to happen. But it's definitely we're thinking a lot about it.
Right. Not in Q1. Q1 is, as you can tell, pretty packed. But yes, it's definitely in the future.
Moving on. Chris Reese asks another one. Do you have an API to support bookings created by other booking solutions such as FareHarbor? Not at the moment. I imagine we probably won't select individual booking systems unless we get an overwhelming request from our customer base. Our customer base uses a huge variety of booking systems right now. What would likely be more common is that we will probably be providing an API for other services to consume, but that's a little bit more in the future, and we'll have news about that sort of more developer-y API side in the future. That's actually kind of what Matt works on, is that sort of API side. So he gets pretty excited when we talk about offering APIs. Okay, Kim asks, since you do not yet support our payment method, we will not allow customer booking reservations. We will only use the walk-in feature. Because of this, can we turn off the in-headset option to schedule next session? I believe so, Devin. I think that's an option. I don't see why we wouldn't have that as an option.
Yeah, turn off. Sorry, say that one more time.
So that it's that CTA to sort of get them to come in for the next time, the schedule next visit inside of the headset.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you do not have our booking toggled on, that will not appear. So yeah, no customer will get a dead link. If you don't have that functionality turned on with our system, they will not see that option.
That's right. Also, another thing, Kim, just to sort of address the first part of that question, while we might not support Square and Stripe, we actually did have it in mind that this monitor would be able to work, and our booking system would be able to work with any payment method. So you actually have the ability to have people make bookings online, but then their only option for payment is to pay in store. So then you can use something like a terminal at the store, or you can even accept cash at store. That's why you can see through these designs the little mark as paid and the mark as unpaid. That's just to sort of give your employees a visual indication that, oh, hey, this person made a booking, but they haven't actually settled the bill with us yet. So we did make this monitor in mind to use with any booking system, not just Square or Stripe. So you might want to, once we do launch this, you might want to look at that. Is this something that's valid with your business? If it's not, like, we really want to make sure that it does work. So just give us a contact, support@springboardvr.com, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that we're giving you the best experience. Okay, Simon Jones asks, could you explain the gift cards feature that appeared in one of the screenshots? Devin?
Join our open huddle for more discussion around that. Again, that was just designs. That is not going to be provided in Q1.
Moving on, Robert Frank. Will the developer panel be updated along with these February-March changes? Stats for each game, list of arcade using. So Q1 is not going to have heavy changes to our development panel. We're going to be adding a little bit more statistics, but not much. So don't look out too much for that. But in the very near future, we have some really big plans for how developers interact with our system and are able to monetize their product. So that's something we're really excited about. We've been thinking a lot about, and we're going to have some big news on that relatively soon. Jeremiah asks, will the time extension only show if the bay has availability? So if a bay is booked back to back, will it be disabled? Yeah. So I'm sure you asked this before I answered the other questions, but just to reiterate, a customer will never, ever, ever be able to create a conflict on your booking system. Brad Drummond asks, are videos or replays available of these past meetings? Yep, every single one is available. I believe we send an email out as soon as it's ready. Big Marker makes them available basically the next day. So tomorrow, we likely will have an email out and you can watch this entire Q&A session. This is something that we actually use internally quite a lot as well to make sure that, we are addressing questions and things like that. Moving on, Shinleo asks, hi, VR game developer. Oh, hi, VR game developer from Australia here. Hello, how are you? Just realized the session might be targeted for arcade owners. Yeah, it's mostly for arcade owners, but we do really want to make sure that we're accommodating to the developers as well. We really love developers, as a developer myself. So excuse me on this question. That might be a bit of a different topic. Wondering if releasing through Steam is strictly needed for getting onto Springboard VR. Our game will work perfectly just on LAN. Yeah, before I go into this, yeah, right now, Steam is our only way of distributing. The only exception to that is arcade owners can actually point to, upload their own custom games if they have that game on the computer. So, for example, you can just launch whatever EXE that's on that computer and add it as a game. But yeah, stay tuned because that's just for now. We have some plans kind of for developers coming up in the future that will make this process just a lot better for everybody.
Right. And I'll just note, as we've gotten more and more game developers on our platform, we will be doing some kind of product release, probably webcast or communication specifically to you guys. But thanks for joining today. As you kind of understand where we're taking the product specific to the arcades.
Shell asks, will all employees of an arcade be able to join the Facebook group? Why not?
So yeah, one of the things that we will be launching with is you will have to have at least entered your billing information in to be included in our Facebook group. So yes. So kind of we'll have a process while you're in trial and you actually put your billing information in. You will be able to have access to our exclusive Facebook group, but it will be primarily around our paying customers.
Ingvar asks, have you started looking into support for the Pixmax 8K? I think some of us around here are part of the Kickstarter, but I know Matt has a few specifics about support. Some of our developers, kind of our more Unity and VR developers, have talked about this a little bit. But Matt, take it away.
Yeah, so basically they are claiming that they're going to have full Steam VR compatibility, and if that is true when it actually comes out, then we'll be able to support it incredibly easily. If it's more like what Microsoft's MR support is like, where it's like it's full support, but it's not really full support, then we're going to have to like talk to them and look into it more closely. But really, we're just waiting until the headset actually comes out, and then we'll have a better idea what's going on.
Craig Ewart asks, hi, just back to the language. In a bilingual environment like Quebec, can we have 2 languages set up at the location level and the user guest can choose in the launcher? Hello, Matt and I are Canadian. We also have a developer in Montreal, so it's pretty great. But yeah, we are aware of this. This is something that we actually didn't 100% think about until this question, is having the guest be able to change the language inside of the headset. We're going to kind of digest that and see if that's something that's a possibility for us. And it's obviously super important in a place like Quebec. However, right now, you are able to, on the fly, change the language of a station inside of the little menu. So maybe Devin can use her mouse, the little 3 dots on the station there in the monitor. So this is actually a feature that's launched right now. But if you click that, you'll have a little drop down for the languages that you can put onto that launcher, and it'll automatically switch it over. So yeah, we'll definitely take a look into having the user of the VR headset being able to change it, because that makes sense, especially in a place like Quebec where basically everybody's it's just a big mishmash of English and French. So anyway, moving on. Josh Pados asks, will there be an option to turn off paid time extension? Yep. Absolutely. So I can't remember exactly which tab it is there, Devin, but when you're setting up the experience, you have the opportunity to say, nope, you can't extend time, or yes, you can extend time in headset. It's just a little toggle. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to show it.
Yeah. Well, it's in there.
keep going, and then
Sure.
I'll show it.
Barry asks, will VR customers be able to extend time and have their credit card charged with the extension? Yep. If it will not create a conflict and you have turned on that option in the panel, the VR, there's 3 conditions. 1, it won't create a conflict. 2, you must have turned it on. And then 3, they must have a credit card on file. Then they will be able to make an extension in headset. Ingvar asks, is it possible to block booking conflicts? Not sure if I'd like all employees can book a conflict. Yeah, so this is something that we also talked about, is for right now, anybody using the monitor, employees and arcade owners, will be able to make conflicts. However, rolling out, I can't say any specific dates, but in our timeline, we're going to have permissions. So certain employees will be able, so like maybe you have like a management team, so maybe 3 or 4 employees will be able to make conflicts and the rest can't. That is in our roadmap, but for now, it's just everybody can make a conflict. Another question by Ingvar, regarding if the user asks to book new session. So this is in the headset when they click book a new session. Will we see if the customer did ask for that so we can follow up? What are the what's the user flow for that on the arcade owner side, Devin?
Right. So I don't have a visual of that, but we would be providing you details of that. So that's a great question for you guys. Would you want to, kind of going back to the station, right? Let me just go there really quickly. If you go back to the stations, would you want to see that on the station card or reservation card, or would you actually want to see it in more of a report form?
Yeah, so people can answer that maybe in the chat.
Yeah, people can answer that. Again, some of those things that we would be discussing in the open huddle. But if I understand that question, you would like to know if the user actually said, yes, they want to schedule more time, because we will have that data. Because we will be sending those emails out or text, right, if we have that data.
Okay, Justin Allen asks, can you also add trophies, achievements for customer profiles? Yeah, we have a lot of things that are, let's just put it this way. Once we get the customer profiles set up, there's a lot of opportunity to add in a lot of really cool stuff. So we're looking into all of this stuff like trophies, achievements, leaderboards. We've even had talks about things like tournament support, but these are all in the future. The first step is getting customer profiles working in a way that works with our booking system. But everything's on the table, you know. I mean, everybody.
Oh, Jamie! Oh, really? Everything, huh?
Literally everything. No, but we're all gamers here, and we know a lot of people who go to these VR arcades, and we want to make sure it's a really good experience. That's really important to us. Ingvar asks, "Oh, will I think if I understand this correctly, you're saying if will customer profiles be built into the membership system?" Yes, that is how we're planning to do it.
So basically, customer profiles and then membership would be on top of that. Yeah.
That's right.
Again, attend as many open huddles so we can have further conversation around that.
Yeah, and just so you know, on these kind of roadmap calls, it's a lot more that we're just answering your questions. But in the huddles, it's a little bit more back and forth, where we'll actually ask you guys questions, and you'll get insight into the direction that maybe we're trying to head in and see if it's a good idea. But just to sort of follow up on what you were saying, is that is there information that you'd like to know? Like, for example, if they schedule the next visit, people say that they want to see it on the station card. Now, the only thing that I will say about having it on the station card is that would it be okay if it's something like a star or an icon? And the only reason why is because we've actually had a lot of problems fitting in a lot of information into something that's maybe a half-hour reservation, because obviously these station cards scale based on on how long they are. So if it is something like a star, is that something that is good enough for you guys, like just a visual indication that this has been done, and then when you actually click onto the booking you can get some more information? Is that something that maybe you'd be interested in? Yeah, an icon is fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, that just making sure, because we actually even have, I think, the lowest support for it to start still look okay is that we want to make sure a 15-minute booking actually still looks like something on the actual calendar, so that you're not just looking at teeny tiny little cards every single day. But yeah, so we'll definitely put that into the little feature request, is for when they schedule a next visit. It's something that's not too terribly difficult. We have one last question. Barry asks, for the new booking system, will there be a way to import existing customers from a current booking tool? Matt, do you want to answer this one?
Not currently. Sorry, from the new booking system. The current booking tool, it's going to be a seamless transition. Everything that you've already made will already be in here. None of your current set stuff inside of Springboard will change at all.
Now, I think maybe what he's asking is that if he has maybe a HubSpot or something where he does customer management, will we be able to accept a CSV of customers?
Not yet, but it's definitely something we're going to look at, especially when we have the API available. A pretty easy way for you to be able to do that management yourself in whatever way you want, but not initially at launch.
Arthur, yeah. He asks, will it be possible to edit the booking system language? Yep. So all of our public-facing stuff will be in one of the 10 languages we support. It's 10 or 11, I can't quite remember now. But if Devin goes to that last slide, you can see what languages we support there. There it is. So English, Estonian, Finnish, French, German, Polish, Portuguese, Spanish, Mandarin, Japanese, and Korean.
All right. Are those all the questions?
Yeah, if there's any last minute questions, now is the time.
Okay, here's just a recap. And then we'll answer any questions. So again, a recap, like I talked at the very, very beginning, we are going to be releasing 2 product releases. One in February, late February, one in March. You will see the information specific to that here. I know a lot of people asked about kind of the user permissions. That's in the future. Multiplayer in the future, and other POS integrations in the future. But if you attend our open huddles, you will be able to kind of understand when we talk about future what that means. But primarily, this webcast was around what we are going to be delivering in Q1 of 2018. And I hope we were able to give you some insight into what we're going to deliver. And please stay tuned and join us in our next open huddle, January 31st at noon Central. Any last remaining questions?
Yeah, one last one. Luke. Yeah, Matt, please answer it. You know more about this stuff than I do. So.
Yeah, so for the question from Luke is that, do you have any preliminary info on what hardware would be required on the admin side for voice communications to customers? So thankfully, it's actually going to be basically any modern phone, tablet, or desktop computer. We're actually leveraging web technologies for this, so there's going to be no specialty hardware. Just whatever you're currently using, you're going to be able to use as long as you add a microphone to it. Or if it's a phone or tablet, it will use the internal microphones.
Yeah, that's right. So if your employees do carry around tablets, they'll be able to just hit a button and be like, hey, stop messing around, whatever you want to say to your customers.
Okay, well, again, like always, I guess I need to schedule these out way more than an hour because we always extend that time. But thanks for your time. We appreciate all of you and your great questions. Again, support at SpringboardVR.com is the right path to get you into the right ticket. So thank you very much, and we will see you guys January 31st.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. As always, a really great time. It's nice being able to present this stuff to you.